guys, it's time. I know you guys have been waiting since the draft for this. It's time for our week one matchup previews from your commish here. We're going to jump in with hashtag embargoed Reese versus Pack Attack, which is Tony Sr., of course. First of all, what's going on with the Bucks-Fins game? They had a 2-hour conference call this morning. You idiots don't know you have to move the game. You got to move it. That's all there is to it. Just move it. Play it on Thursday night. Make everybody happy. You're done. That's it. They've been prepping for each other for weeks, NFL. What the hell? Get your shit together. But in any event, some questionable matchups for Reese this week. Alshon Jeffrey versus Josh Norman in his first game on a new team. Not very tasty. Leonard Fournette at Houston. And, you know, as we've discussed before, I don't really like Leonard Fournette anyway. So playing at Houston, his first game on the road, that's tough, man. That's real tough, and I don't think it's going to be pretty. It's likely to be an emotional win after Harvey for Houston. So, I mean, they're going to come out pumped. Houston's going to beat the crap out of Jacksonville, and it's not going to be good for Fournette. So stay away from that. But, I mean, it's not like you have any better options. Fournette's at the very least in your flex. So, I mean, tough luck. But Janikowski is potentially going to be released, won't rework his contract. And you know what? I respect that, Janikowski. Go get him. But I wouldn't be caught dead with him on my fantasy team. Stupid kicker pick. Basically, Reese is going to need David Johnson to carry him. But he's likely to do very well. He's playing the Lions. So my dad, T.Y. Hilton with Scott Tolzien at quarterback. C.J. Anderson, just no. Yuck. Terrible play. C.J. Anderson's bad play. He's basically going to need Aaron Rodgers to bail him out, which is what we figured after the draft when we saw what he put together for this draft. He's got all his eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket. Matchup comes down to Delanie Walker versus Martellus Bennett. Who scores more points at tight end is going to win this matchup. And I'm sorry to say, Reese, but Pack Attack's going to win. There's just too much uncertainty with your bad matchups, buddy. There's nothing you can do about it. You're going to lose. Welcome to the league. I Know Kung Fu, which is Jared, truly atrocious roster, versus Cheesehead champ Tony, who also has some very questionable, terrible players. But let's see. Tom Brady to Rob Gronkowski. Wow, that's going to be a problem for you, Tony. Thursday night, just 2 days away. Let that sink in for a second. 2 days till real football. AP is likely to score a touchdown against the Vikings, but he's not likely to do much else. They're going to force feed him the rock to get him a touchdown near the goal line. I still think this is Mark Ingram's job to lose in the backfield. And AP's 32 years old, coming off of a second knee surgery. I just don't foresee him being as big a factor as apparently some of you guys do. But we'll see how it plays out as far as that goes. But, I mean, for the love of God, Jared, your love of Dolphins is killing your fantasy potential. Jarvis Landry, Devontae Parker, both in what's likely to be horrible weather because the NFL is stupid and won't just move this game, against a very underrated Bucs defense. The Bucs D is solid, and I don't expect Jay Cutler to come out there and light the world on fire his first game, which apparently you do because you're starting 2 Fins wide receivers. Stupid. But, you know, you don't have any better options because you drafted poorly. Joe Mixon, not likely to be a factor for at least the first month of the season. He'll get some carries, don't get me wrong, but you didn't draft any starting running backs, so you're stuck playing a guy that's second or third string. That's fine. You do what you got to do there. So basically, Jared is Brady and Gronk versus the world. Tony, Russell Wilson at Green Bay has explosive potential, huge weak potential. Lamar Miller is a turd and shouldn't be on anybody's roster, and I'm calling that right now. Week 1, he should not be on anybody's roster. Tony thought it was just too good a value to pass up in the 4th round. But I'll tell you what, he's this year's Matt Forte, and Steve's not coming to bail your sorry ass out this year on that terrible selection. Lamar Miller shouldn't be on anybody's roster. That's my bold prediction for Lamar Miller this season. Kelvin Benjamin was highly overrated coming into our draft. The guy caught a touchdown in the preseason, so, oh, my God, he's going to blow up and be an all-pro this year. He's your Marvin Jones Jr. for this year. If he has a good game against San Fran, which he likely will, you should look to move him, but you won't because that's just what you do. So Dalvin should start hot against New Orleans, and he should stay hot all year. Dalvin Cook is going to be the rookie of the year for fantasy, going to be a stud. I don't think this is going to happen, but I really hope it does. I hope Jordy Nelson roasts Richard Sherman, roasts the Seahawks left and right, because I hate the Seahawks. I hate them. But they did just get Sheldon Richardson, who's going to help make that D-line even tougher, which is not going to allow Aaron Rodgers to have all day to throw. Travis Kelce sucks. You guys all know that. At New England, he's not going to do dink. That's all there is to it. You're looking at 40 or 50 yards and no score. It's basically going to come down to Brady and Gronk. Can they go full retard and get like 8 touchdowns between the two of them? I don't think they do. I think they come close. But in the end, Tony wins in a close game. Ruling cheesehead champ. So now, Big Brown and it hurts John versus Cash Me Outside Steve. Okay. Kareem Hunt, all of a sudden, not looking like such a genius pick in the 4th round, John. It looks like he's in a 3-man committee as far as that goes with the Sharknado and the Spiller Thriller. At the time, it looked pretty scary when you took him. We were all thinking maybe you got a huge steal there, but it is not to be, sir. Seattle at Green Bay. That's your defensive play. Seattle at Green Bay. Ouch, brother. You have some turds on your bench. I highly suggest you cut one of them and go get a decent defense. The Rams are playing the Colts. Just saying, go get them. Antonio Brown likely to go off. Matt Ryan likely to go off. The rest of your team sucks. That's what it is. Derek Carr is facing an underrated Titans D for Steve. Dez is going to get shut down versus the Giants, as he always does. He cannot play against the Giants. Chris Mancusi, you know what I'm talking about, brother. Hit Steve up, drop him with some knowledge, let him know what Dez does against the Giants. He doesn't do dink. Carlos Hyde's going to get stuffed all season long. The Niners aren't going to be able to throw the ball at all. Nobody's scared of Brian Hoyer. Nobody's scared of Pierre Garçon, the most vanilla receiver in the NFL. But especially this week, Hyde's going to get stuffed because he's facing a healthy Luke Kuechly, and that guy is an animal, maybe the best middle linebacker in football. I think that Carlos Hyde has a terrible game, as the Niners will have a terrible game too, and a terrible season. The question with Jordan Reed is he going to self-destruct the first time he gets hit? And I'm banking on yes, he is. So Arizona, bad D, will be shredded, highly droppable. Detroit's going to crush them. That's going to be a shootout back and forth. That's the way I see that. Not a situation where I want either one of those defenses. Arizona was purely, they're ranked here, so I'm going to take them. Stupid pick for your defense. Stupid. I really don't have much nice to say about Steve's garbage team, so I'm just going to move on to what you all know is coming. Comes down to, is Zeke playing or not playing? But actually, it doesn't really matter because ruling Big Brown and it hurts. John wins this game. And moving forward to follow the Buzzards versus OJ's Revenge. Jason versus Kuzi. Great QB battle here. Maybe the QB battle of the week with Carson Palmer facing the Lions and Marcus Mariota versus the Oakland Raiders. We just talked about how Carson Palmer is going to be in a shootout this week, and he's going to, and he's going to throw some touchdowns in that one. Mariota, great matchup versus Oakland too. Running back is a major concern for Jason. Only Jared has it worse in week 1, honestly, and that's only because Jared has no starters. He could get bailed out, though, again, Jason, that is, by Jonathan Stewart versus the Niners. Austin Hooper at tight end is an upside stash, not a starter, you retard. I don't know what in the world you were thinking there. I mean, I like the pick because you got him super late, but stash him on your bench. He's not going to come in and be Tony Gonzalez in week 1. What are you doing? Mike Evans is an unstoppable freak beast. The Dolphins are currently having nightmares about him. He's the real storm that the Finns should be worried about coming to Miami. Mike Evans is going to destroy them, and there's really nothing they can do about it. The Bengals D, of course, for Jason, unsuitable for any situation versus any opponent. Total homer play, and I'm going to call this as the worst defensive play of the week. The Cincinnati Bengals. Doesn't matter who they're playing. Doesn't matter. They suck. So on to Kuzi. Beckham's questionable, and that's a big deal for him. If he doesn't have Beckham, going to be a rough go. Is he getting beast mode or least mode? I don't know that Marshawn Lynch is going to get the workload like you think. I don't think he's going to run the rock 20-plus times a week. And I think you're going to see that starting in week 1. He's going to share more of the load than you think. Devontae Freeman, though. Free Devontae. He's going to get loose against the Bears. I could see 120 to 150 yards and 2 scores. So the Giants D will be fine versus the Cowboys. They're not elite as a defensive play because Dak doesn't tend to turn the ball over a whole lot, but they're going to be fine. Winner's going to come down to Palmer versus Mariota. I got Palmer winning that matchup, and Jason, follow the Buzzards Gotch in the upset of the week. Congratulations, Jason Kuzi. Sorry, brother. It's considered an upset, so that's something. So final matchup, Judge Fudge, your commissioner, versus Dalton's Freaks, Joe Garbad. Ty Montgomery versus the Seahawks. Not good with the Sheldon Richardson edition. That's going to be rough. Bilal Powell versus your own defense? I mean, Bilal Powell against anybody, really, but your own defense? Ouch. Tyler Eifert is absolutely useless as a fantasy tight end. We've discussed this before. The guy, even in his big season, had 12 touchdowns, but he still had less than 500 yards receiving. This guy is purely a touchdown specialist. The ceiling for Eifert in any given week is roughly 20 yards and a score, which is still only 8 points. He's a terrible play. Shouldn't have even been drafted, except maybe as a backup to Gronk or something like that. He's a spot start, not a week 1 play. Don Julio versus the Bears is your one saving grace. He's potentially going to be a problem for me. The rest of your team is truly, truly horrendous. You and Steve both making a serious run at Golden Douche already. As far as my team goes, I mean, what can I say? Cam's going to go ham against the Niners. You all know this. Dougie Fresh, Dougie Baldwin versus the Packers. I love it. Love the matchup. Think Dougie goes crazy, but ring the bell. Le'Veon Bell back in camp against the Browns. He's going to dominate, and you all know that. And this week, it's actually Manly to be Gurley. Gurley versus the Colts this week. Man, couldn't ask for an easier way to open the season. The Broncos, of course, are good for 1 pick 6 against Phillip Rivers, maybe 2 because Phillip Rivers throws pick 6. That's what he does. What this game comes down to is if all my players show up to the stadium with a pulse. If they do, this is going to be the beatdown of the week. Ruling Judge Fudge over Dalton's Freaks. And that is your matchup previews for this week. Everybody, on a more serious note, be safe. We have a hurricane coming to town. Make sure you got your supplies. If you guys need anything, give me a call. See you later, guys.